Okay, today we're going to be doing compliance bushings or lower control arm bushing, which is this one. As you can see, it's starting to rip. You don't want to let it go too far, because then it becomes something like this, pretty much rips all the way around. And then what happens is the control arm drops, and this actual edge rubs up against the bottom of this pocket, which sometimes it'll wear all the way through and rip this whole pocket out through the bottom, and then you need a whole subframe. But we're going to be doing it with the control arm in the car, using pretty much this kit, which is strictly for Honda and Acura Compliance bushings. There's different sizes. There's two different sizes of the compliance bushings. So I've been using this for a long time and I really like it. Makes the job a lot easier. So first thing you need to do is remove this 36mm, remove this bolt, which is a 19, and remove this bolt, which is a 17. And now we're going to be doing it pretty much pushing the arm out just enough to clear this pocket. That way I can get the tool and press this one out and press the new one in. And once you remove this 36mm, you want to push the axle in, or make sure it's free, because once you start pushing this whole arm, moving it out, then you don't want the axle to pull out of the actual joint here, because then that's a problem. So I'll remove these bolts. And okay, so I got the bolts off, pretty much pulled out the control arm to this point, pretty much rested like this. And as you can see, that, and pretty much like that. If you don't have the kit that I'm using, you have to remove the whole arm completely, which is, besides the bolts that I've removed, the sway bar end link and the lower fork bolt. This bolt, sometimes this will get stuck in the actual bushing, and the only way to remove it is actually cutting this bolt on both sides of the fork, and then replacing the bushing and new bolt. And also you want to remove the lower ball joint as well. They separate the ball joint. But in this case I don't need to do all that. I just pretty much get up to this point, mount my adapter, and press the bushing out. You also want to mark on the actual metal where this point is, and there's another point here. That way it goes back the same way, because if it's in a different position it might rip prematurely, might wear out. This bushing might rip. So if it's never been removed, this is the factory installation, so just mark it here and mark it here. There's actual arrow that it's pointing, so make a mark here and pretty much put the bushing in the same spot where the old one was. So this is pretty much how the setup of the tool goes, and this is pushing down into this bigger sleeve, pocket, whatever you call it, and pretty much that's going to push this down, and the new one gets pushed from the top down. Just make sure there is a ridge here, make sure both sides are more or less even. Okay, so here's the new bushing pressed in. Pretty much all I'm left to do is remount the control arm, the two bolts, put the axle nut on, and do the other side the same way. This is the old compliance bushing. As you can see, there's the crack on both ends. But once it goes back to its normal position, the cracks pretty much disappear. As you can see, the cracks right there. Alright, so You guys want to try this on your own? It's very doable. So, thanks for watching.